Oh boy. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another fantastic episode of The Left Wing. I'm TJ Whitehead, Power Stake Not Given, joined as always by John Cooper Paz of Counterpoint Talk Politics. And boy, John, if we ever get this Patreon off the ground for our backstage conversations, they're going to be doozies. My God,
TJ,
man.
that's what I was just thinking. Like, we just need to start it at this point because that was such an amazing backstage conversation. You guys all just missed out on it. Mostly because we were talking about subjects we at least need to have other guests on in order to feel comfortable actually talking about.
Oh, man.
Besides just us. But definitely watch out for that announcement whenever we have it if you want to be privy to the backstage John and TJ conversation.
It might seem like John and I just say whatever comes to mind without any fear of getting like canceled or anything. Nope, we got there's a few things that we're feeling a little nervous to say out loud. You never know how it's gonna go over. There's a lot of touchy subjects out there, but I don't know. We'll do our best to see where we're going. How you been doing this week, John? How things been going for you?
Been going all right. Been a stressful week at work, but you know that it comes with the territory of having a job. But yeah, this is doing fine. All things considered, we got the Olympics on. We're gonna be talking about that a little bit. Anytime the Olympics are on, my just like day is better because I just have it on constantly in the background, just 24/7, and it just makes me feel connected with my fellow man. I am a big Olympics fan. We'll be talking about that. What else did you want to talk about today, TJ? Because did you read the Noam article?
Yes. Well, no, actually, so it was a Wall Street Journal article, and I don't have a subscription, so I couldn't read it. So I read like a synopsis of it, of like the certain things that they talked about. But yeah, that was some wild shit. We'll get to the Kristi Noem thing. But Colby asked, "Did the Israelis get you? Is that why you were late?" No, Colby, we were talking about racism and other stuff, but it's just I don't know how to say it. It's just. That other stuff, yeah. So, yeah, we can talk Kobe one day. Maybe we can shoot her a message or something we're talking about. But the Olympics, should I say this in the Olympics section or not? There's something I want to talk about before, like in the banter. But the Olympics, I do enjoy them. Winter Olympics, not quite as much though. Winter Olympics, this is I don't know. It used to just be the Olympics, and now we have the Summer Olympics and the Winter Olympics. The Summer Olympics are the Olympics, as far as I'm concerned. Like the Winter Olympics, I couldn't name you 5 Winter Olympic sports. Maybe I could. You have speed skating, ice skating, doubles luge, which I'm gonna get to. Have you seen the clips or the videos about doubles luge, John?
Oh, I love the doubles luge content. That it's one of the there's dumb sports in both the Summer and the Winter Olympics. Doubles luge might be one of the. I think luge already is pretty dumb. I don't understand why it's a sport. Skeleton, at least, it looks like they're actually doing something. Luge, I can barely I can't tell you the difference between what they're doing at all. And I know that I'm not supposed to, but it's a boring sport to watch. I don't understand why anyone does it. Then doubles luge, why is that even a thing? Why are we wasting time? This is my problem with the Winter Olympics. There's 2 problems with the Winter Olympics. One is that all of the sports are for rich people only, and so you just get way less diversity of the countries and people who are represented in it, and that also means that you have lower competition. And then 2, it's all the same sports. It's 10 different sports that they've just made 40 different copies of, and that is what you get in the Winter Olympics. So it does get a little there's times I'm watching and it's just curling. There's just curling. That's all that's going on. There doesn't need to be so many sports, but they couldn't fill out the entire Winter Olympics if they didn't replicate every sport 10 times. Doubles luge doesn't need to exist. That's ridiculous. There's no reason for it. Put in another winter or move some of the summer sports over to the Olympics. There's no reason wrestling can't be a Winter Olympic sport. It is traditionally done in the winter. Basketball, same thing. You can make a lot of sports Winter Olympics, and they just put all of the good ones in the Summer Olympics, and just it has to have snow or ice to be in the Winter Olympics, and I don't quite understand that.
Well, I don't know about wrestling, but if you did basketball, that's when the season's going on. They're not going to interrupt the season to send their basketball players to the Olympics. I mean,
that's a fair sport, but you can make the same argument about the NHL.
Oh, well, I don't care about the NHL, but it's so I don't give a fuck. But how do they do that then? Do they just put a pause on the regular season and send Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I
That's
mean, I'm not
dumb.
NHL.
Okay.
I could be maybe wrong about this, but I don't think I am. I do
No.
not follow the NHL. It's been a while. Flyers have sucked for a long, long
I
time.
have no idea. Yeah, I have no idea when the NHL season is. The hockey seems like a sport that I should like, but I don't. And I think the number one reason is that I can't see the puck when I'm watching. I can't see it. It's just guys like skating around and like I don't know. It's got periods instead of quarters. I don't know. It's not a thing. But you talk about the other sports and everything. And doubles luge, and I'm surprised you didn't mention how fucking gay the doubles luge is. That's the thing that gets me the most.
It's only mildly more gay than all of the other Olympic sports, DJ. Right?
I challenge you to find something gayer than this right here. Hold on. Why, John? Why are they like just nut butt like that? Just I don't know how this sport was invented. I don't know how like luge, all right, with one person on a sled. All right, fine, I got it. But then now I need another dude to sit right here. Just right here. We're gonna lay down and we need both people to go down this tube. Like this is the only way this sport can possibly work. I need another dude sitting right on my junk while I do this. And I didn't know this until this year that there's now a men's doubles luge and a women's doubles luge section, but it wasn't always that way. It was a co-ed sport. I think it technically still is. Like they could put a woman on there and they don't. They don't. No one is stopping them.
It's like every other like couple, even like curling. Curling is you just put two, like a man and a woman. There's no reason that you need like in curling like that. Another one of those like you really don't need this to be gendered, but like we've created men's curling, women's curling, and mixed curling. For what reason I do not know.
What reason? Yeah, the sports like that are separated by gender kind of mystify me. Like shooting. You know, they have like pistol shooting. That's gendered. Why? I mean, is there a definitely good reason for this? And it's also very fun that the Americans don't run away with the shooting gold medals. I see the Turkey fucking wins that. How are we losing that one of all events?
We should really have we should win all of the guns, but the problem is it's not real guns. Like if it was real guns, okay. I swear we would win every single time. The reason for that, by the way, at least I know this with chess. Which, like, you think about chess and you're like, this doesn't have. Why is this gendered? There's no structural advantage at all in chess, but is in a way, like just historically, it has always been a male-dominated sport or whatever you want to call chess, and it just allows for greater competition to grow the women's game in concurrence with the men. If the women's game was as good as the men's, there would be no reason for it, but you get better competition for the women as you grow that part of the sport by separating them. That's why it's done on a sport level in order to grow the game. Now, on a competitive level, does that necessarily make sense? Is the women's championship as good as the men's? No, because we can just compare them head to head and there's no actual difference, but it's still good for the game. That's why they do it.
So we're all on the curling thing right now. I'm really mad at Hugh Jass here writing women are better at sweeping sarcasm because that is a joke that I was going to say on this. Because now I'm sure I'm not the first person. Like I'm sure Hugh Jass came with it independently as well. But a long time ago, I wrote that women definitely have an advantage with curling due to all the sweeping involved. I have said that. So Hugh Jass. Very happy about that. I'm not trying to steal your thunder here. That was a good joke, but I'm mad you got to it before I did. But
this is the John and DJ comedy hour right now, guys. This is not even. We haven't said a political statement.
That's political stuff.
We're almost 10 minutes into this. We haven't said one political statement. We're just making jokes about the game.
John and I got.
You could like watch this. You could clip it and just show it to people. And they're like, you probably assume this is a conservative podcast.
John and I got all the politics out of our system backstage, talking about child predators and transitioning. But Colby wrote, I know if this politics thing doesn't work out for you guys, you can always fall back on your acting careers. Always nice to see Mac from It's Always Sunny and War Machine do passion projects like this. Now, okay, yeah, John does look like Mac from It's Always Sunny. We've definitely covered that. I don't know who you're comparing me to here. If you're comparing me to Terrence Howard or Don Cheadle, either way, I'm insulted because Don Cheadle, I look less like Don Cheadle than Terrence Howard. I guess I gotta go that far, but Terrence Howard is so strange and weird that I don't want to be compared to him in any sense at all. I'm guessing Don Cheadle because
if I'm reading Colby right here, I don't think he's comparing you to either of the actors. I think that War Machine, like you could play War Machine. If I were to cast War Machine, you are the build, the everything.
Yeah, listen, and I'd be better than Don fucking Cheadle. Okay, that is one of the most Marvel really nailed it with most of their casting, right? Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man. It's like he was born to play Tony Stark. I mean, he looks like, and then he not only does he look like Tony Stark in the comics, but he also has Tony Stark's reputation as like a playboy, drunk and everything like that, and drug problems. It's excellent. Chris Hemsworth as Thor, incredible. Chris Evans as Captain America, knocked it out of the fucking park. Don Cheadle as War Machine as Steve. I don't get that one. That's a weird one right there. And then Colby wrote, "How much for you two?" I didn't read this. Hold on. How much for you two? How much for you to? Jesus, how much for you to do that? Yeah, and how much for your partners enjoying seeing that? Yowie. Yeah, no thanks. Yeah, that would be weird. And then Kyle writes, "Is this in Turkish oil wrestling?" I don't know what that's in reference to. What's the Turkish oil wrestling?
Sports. Turkish oil wrestling. Yeah, see, as a wrestler, I don't throw stones in a glass house calling other sports gay. Double Luge is pretty fucking gay.
Wrestling,
totally okay.
Well, wrestling is gay, but wrestling has like the history of Greco-Roman culture, which is like the gayest thing ever created in human society. So yeah, of course, wrestling is a little gay. Look who came up with it. So we kind of accept that and everything. And also wrestling is kind of gay by necessity. When you have men rolling around in like singlets, you're gonna have some pretty homoerotic stances there.
But we don't, TJ, to be fair, we don't have to have a starting position that is literally just doggy style. Like it doesn't have to be that way. It just is, and it's really gay.
My favorite thing with wrestling is when there's like a time, like a break or something. It's like, okay, one guy is on top of the other, and the other one's like in doggy style, or they got him in the guard where you're just mounted on another dude or something, and the ref has to call a stoppage, and they say, "Okay, all right, buddy, climb back on top of the other guy, just like you were before." And you can awkwardly position yourself. It's like, "All right, now go." That's really funny to me, watching the reset back up like that. And all right, speaking of sports, I want to get onto this before we actually start talking about the Olympics. Did you see that clip?
Yes.
I see what you already know. Up. You see it? All right. I'll just play it for everyone. This is posted by our Secretary of Health and Human Services. You can't believe this. This is Robert F. Kennedy Jr. And he posted this video of him with Kid Rock. Already sounds strange. It's about to get a lot stranger. Here we go. I want to pause this right here because I give RFK Jr. a lot of shit, whatever, but I got to hand it to him. Dude looks great. He doesn't look good.
That's so impressive.
Yeah, he doesn't look good for like a 70-year-old or whatever. He just looks good. Like he's gonna be in the top like 3% of torsos in the country. The guy looks amazing. I hand that to him. Kid Rock, however. Kid Rock doesn't look bad. There's nothing wrong with how Kid Rock looks, but I would have kept the shirt on. Especially around RFK Jr., I'd have kept the shirt on, buddy. You might as well not push this too far. But all right, let's go. Even the way Kid Rock did those push-ups. Watch how Kid Rock does the push-ups, and watch how RFK Jr., who's like 20 years his senior, does the push-ups. Look at that. Look at that form. All right, John, you know what I'm going here. What the fuck? What the fuck, man? What? Have you heard any theories on this of why RFK Jr. refuses to take off these jeans when he's in the water? I saw a video of him or pictures of him in the water and he's wearing jeans. He's like with his family, whatever. Then I saw another one. This is when he jumped in the sewer water and he had jeans on. I was, that's weird. And now he does it again later on. But have you heard any theories of why this guy never has a pair of shorts around?
Well, I haven't heard any, TJ, but I have one.
Let's go. Let's go.
It's staring us right in the face. The dude's a never nude. Like there's no. Do you not know what a never nude is?
No. What's that?
So it's from a show called Arrested Development, and one of the characters, Tobias Bluth, he's a never nude. He always wears a pair of jean shorts, even when he's showering, when he's bathing. He's never nude. That's his whole thing. And so that's my thing with RFK now. Like until I see him outside of the jeans, I just believe he wears them at all times. I believe he never takes them off. It's the same pair of jeans. They wash it while they're on him. It's weird. I understand it's a branding decision, but there's no reason to be entering that. That's like a cold bath. That's going to be awful. You're not going to be able to take those jeans off, and they're going to be soaking wet on you. Why would you do that? There's no reason for this. You didn't have to get in the cold bath.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know, but maybe it's a weird philosophical thing. I don't know. Kennedy's like when I think of RFK or any Kennedy, honestly, I don't think like prude or someone who is like ashamed. Like, and honestly, when you got a body like that, the last thing you want to do is hide it, right? It's like when I was in the army and I was like, just in amazing shape, I couldn't wait to show off how good I looked. I was doing it all the time. So I think maybe it's some kind of weird like deformity or whatever. Like maybe he did drugs and like collapsed his like veins or something. He has weird scars, but neither of these explanations would explain why he doesn't wear like sweatpants or something, or like or something that would just cover him up. But it's always fucking jeans. But okay, let's finish off this story.
But again, like all of that makes sense. Getting in, he just didn't have to do this. Like, there's no reason to get in this tub.
Whew.
Where's Karen?
All right, so this is it. We got to finish the rest of it here, but we had him jumping in with the jeans, and once again with the fucking whole milk thing. Have we talked about that? About the Department of Health and Human Services and how their dicks are getting hard for whole milk all the time? Have you seen this shit?
It's one of the strangest things where I want to believe that it's not like a weird white supremacist Nazi thing, and there's a legitimate reason for this. But I just can't understand any other reason. I'm someone who drinks whole milk, by the way. I'm all for whole milk. It's cool. I don't think it would ever be a major part of my health platform to be like whole milk. It's gotta be, because I've read into this of how like milk has been a white supremacist sort of like symbol for a while now. And I don't know if like RFK even understands that, or anyone in the Trump administration, but I don't understand why there's this push for the whole milk. It makes absolutely no sense.
I didn't know that. I didn't know about the white supremacist thing. I thought, I have no evidence for this, but I thought they, the Maha people and the wacky, crazy folks on the right, they're always talking about raw milk. And I thought that maybe they were trying to push raw milk, and they says, no, are you kidding me? We're not going to push raw milk to the population and, get people sick and get the department in trouble. So we'll do whole milk and pretend that it's like, no, it's raw milk adjacent or something. I don't know. Maybe that, I don't know. I have no idea. But I remember a couple weeks ago, if you went to the Twitter page of the Department of Health and Human Services, it was just post after post of whole milk. People saying whole milk is back. You lose libs. Like, really? Is that something that we gave a shit about?
No one ever cared about.
No, yeah, the talking points that I received from George Soros and Saul Alinsky and Hillary Clinton never told me that we should be shitting on whole milk. It shouldn't happen, but I don't know. I had to bring that up with RFK Jr. And
The most likely explanation now that I think about it is there's someone in the milk industry who realizes that, I don't know, whole milk is a higher profit margin or something. I don't know. And so they're trying to get America to switch to whole milk. I really don't know.
There is something kind of like that. So years and years ago, before I started doing social media or anything, I remember seeing this because Congressman. John, by the way, I'm sorry. 8 o'clock, I have to leave again. This is going to be a little constant for me now. So yeah, sorry.
Wait, this is an off the rails Q&A show, folks. Make sure to drop your questions. You're getting me and TJ in rare form tonight. We will go into anything right now.
But I remember him. I don't remember who it was, but he was in Congress and he was talking about how it's a shame that they took away chocolate milk from schools, and that he had this sign, it says "Come and get it" with a rifle on it. Mm-hmm. It was like a carton of milk. It said "Come and get it." It was ridiculous and everything, but he was being paid by the milk lobby because they want to sell more milk to schools, and schools decided to sell less chocolate milk to older kids and no chocolate milk to younger kids or whole milk. Instead, they were only going to do 2% or skim milk. And so I know that dairy industry says, well, we want to sell more milk. I get it. That makes perfect sense, but I don't know why the right wingers would care so much about this. Like, it seems weird that they're all jonesed about this.
Which is why I can only imagine it's a white supremacist thing. Like that's the only reason I can understand that anyone is really getting their rocks off over fucking whole milk. Also, that whole video, by the way,
Howard Lutnick,
genuinely hilarious. Why is Kid Rock? They have the UFC sucks their dick on a regular occasion. You could have gotten anyone. You could have gotten Sean Strickland. He would have jumped at this shit. And you got Kid Rock? Wait, really?
Yeah.
That's wild.
Kid Rock only makes sense in a strike while the iron's hot type of situation where Kid Rock got publicity for doing the TPUSA halftime show, and all conservatives hate Bad Bunny now. They don't know shit about Bad Bunny, but they're mad, and Kid Rock's the guy who's the avatar of their anger. So maybe that kind of makes sense. It's kind of like, I don't know if you see, I'm mad at the Canadian curling team for cheating. I don't know if you've seen that, where the Canadian curling team, they're like pushing the stone with their finger. Have you seen that?
Yes, I saw like a headline about that. I didn't read into it.
Oh yeah, well, they got caught cheating and started cussing out the Swedish team, and the men's and women's curling team from Canada were caught cheating, but they acted like they didn't. And I was acting all incensed and enraged, like I give a shit about curling. But that's how people are with Kid Rock. Like, yeah, this guy's our guy now. But I don't know. We'll see. I wanted to. This has nothing to do with what we talked about, but I want to show this, John, first. But this is another member of Trump's administration, Howard Lutnick. You know our boy Howard Lutnick, right?
Oh, yes. Very familiar with Howard Lutnick.
Yeah, he's the U.S. Secretary of Commerce, and he's one of the more, he seems like an untrustworthy guy, right? Like, just his presentation, he
is a used car salesman through and through. That's just his entire personality is used car salesman. It's so obvious. It is satirical. He's a Mel Brooks character.
Whoa, did you hear something just banged my door? I don't, holy shit. That was like a person. Hold on.
All right. Well, he was about to bring up Howard Lutnick, who Colby lovingly refers to as Howard Nutlick. Is everything okay? Did Wolfie die?
We're good. No, he's all right. Everything's fine. No, but Howard Lutnick is one of the more obviously crooked people. Like you said, he's a Mel Brooks character that we say used car salesman, but if you showed up at the car lot and that guy came out to talk to you, said, "Yeah, I'm talking to somebody else. I'm going to a car lot in a different county. Okay, I'm getting as far away from this guy as possible." I found this clip. I hope you haven't seen it because it's great. I found this clip of today's. Okay, this is a clip from right after 9/11, and Howard Lutnick is talking about how he had a bunch of employees in one of the towers, and he was supposed to go to work that day, but he took his kid to school that day, and so he showed up late, and the towers collapsed. And in the interview, he's talking about the insurance money that he got from dead employees. And John, he tries to act like he's sad, but he cries what are obviously tears of joy. I need to get your impression here on this video.
The head of Cantor Fitzgerald, Harold Lutnick, just happened to be out of the office that day that the terrorists struck. Mr. Lutnick was taking his son to his first day of kindergarten. Now he says he has a very different view of business and life. He spoke to our business correspondent, Terry Keenan, earlier today.
We're really focused on trying to make sure that our 700 families who lost a member of their family are taken care of. And so I spent the day yesterday, part of the day, in talking to our insurance company. Our insurance company, CNA, told me that they would, they told our guys, they didn't tell me, and then they told me that that they're willing to treat this as an accidental death, which means that they would double the policy for all of my victims upstairs and all of us, and so that added $35 million to that group upstairs. But the sad thing is, $35 million sounds like so much money, but if you divide it by 700 people, it's only $50,000. It's not enough to. So that's why we need to work on our foundation.
All right, John, I want to get your reaction after seeing that. How good of a job do you think he did hiding his erection at the $35 million he just pocketed after 9/11?
TJ, the way you set that up, I was expecting something much more subtle than what I just witnessed. I don't think he was hiding it all. He literally starts crying that he didn't get more. He made it about the money, TJ. This is after 9/11. The whole country has their hearts broken and bleeding, and everyone is just so sad about what happened. And oh shit, we have lost TJ a little bit, but I will continue this diatribe because the whole country is sad about what happened, and he's just like sitting there. He's literally crying crocodile tears over the fact that $50,000 isn't enough, which inherently implies that there is an amount of money that would be enough for him to be okay with 9/11 happening. His problem wasn't the terrorist attack or the deaths. It's that the insurance company did not properly value the amount of money they should have given him when all of his employees died. TJ, that's one of the... I swear, like, we always talk about how, like, oh my God, like, this is a unique time in America. That is one of the most wild fucking clips I have seen in quite some time, and we live in this reality.
John, I want to play it again, okay? He actually smiles. He actually starts smiling before he talks about the money. Hold on, here it goes. He actually starts smiling. Who's he?
Lost a member of their family taken care of, and so I spent the day yesterday and part of the day in talking to our insurance company. Our insurance company, CNA, told me that they would. They told our guys, they didn't tell me, and then they told me that that we're willing to treat this as an accidental death, which means that they would double the policy for all of my upstairs and all of us, and so that added $35 million to that group upstairs. But
this is when he realizes, oh, I'm smiling too much. I'm actually smiling.
You can tell he makes a concerted effort to cry in this moment, but he's crying over the fact, like, the words he's saying while he's crying are, "I didn't get paid enough money for all of my employees dying in 9/11."
This is. I know people joke about, like you said, the crocodile tears, the Erica Kirk fake tears. Oh my God, this is terrible. This is just, here we go.
But the sad thing is, so $35 million sounds like so much money, but if you divide it by 700 people, it's only $50,000. It's not enough to. So that's why we need to work on our foundation.
Oh man, I don't know, John. I had to bring that to the show. I had to say, I can't deprive the good folks of this one. This is just incredible. It's only $35 million. What are we gonna do? That's bad, man. That's bad.
When I called him a Mel Brooks character, I didn't expect that you had a clip lined up with the most Mel Brooks character dialogue you could possibly. TJ, I want to remind you that there's no way that reporter in the wake of 9/11 asked him a specific question about how the insurance company was paying him out.
Yeah.
even went there. He was probably just asked, hey, how do you feel about 9/11? He's like, well, you know what? Feeling pretty fucking good. My insurance company just called me. Told me that $35 million. This is the best thing that ever happened to me. But also it's really sad because like if you divide it, it could have been more.
It could have been more. That's where, you know what? I am willing to think maybe he was actually crying, but they were tears of joy. They were absolutely tears of joy. He's like, "Woo, boy! I look 35." And I don't know. I don't believe Howard Lutnick's part of a weird conspiracy, but it is odd. Oh, I happen to take my kid to school. One of the worst human beings in the world. If this proves anything, is that God is not real or evil. That God specifically saved that fucking guy.
Well, there's actually like a genuinely valid like thing here where if you're Donald Trump, right, and you are raised in a world where you're surrounded by Howard Lutnicks all the time, it makes sense for you to become this narcissistic asshole who genuinely believes, and again, I'm not making something up here. Donald Trump has said this, like, he thinks that anyone who ever shows compassion or mercy for or cares about anyone other than themselves is a sucker. Like that is Donald Trump's entire mindset. And it kind of makes sense if he was just his whole life's been spent around people like that. Because that is how Howard Lutnick gets by. He's just the most terrible person constantly. Did you watch Succession, TJ?
No, I haven't seen it. I've heard great things about it, but I've never seen the show.
Wonderful. I won't ruin it for you, but the guy who wins the fucking show, like, that's how he does it. He just fucking will lower himself to any standard to win. And that's how they succeed in business. It genuinely is. And so they think that everyone else who isn't doing that, they don't believe people have principles. They do not believe, they always believe that someone's saying they have a principle or they care about something. They're just trying to manipulate you, because why wouldn't they be? They're out for it for themselves, just like I would be. That is the mindset. Like that's and it happens all the time. I don't know if you ever like talked about anything, use any sort of moral heartstring argument. They're just like, you don't actually believe that. You wouldn't actually do that. And it's like, no, I would. I would. Like when I talk about like open borders and stuff, I'm like, there's a baby born in Texas. There's a baby born in Mexico. Why would I treat them any different? It doesn't make any fucking sense to me. And they're like, well, obviously because of the law, they're born in America. I'm like, why would that matter to me? And like, you must understand that it's more important to treat Americans better than the rest. It's like, no, I don't. I genuinely don't. And then they accuse me of, I don't know, taking Soros money. And it's just like, no, like I genuinely feel that way. And it just doesn't compute for them.
Yeah, it's kind of like how if the Trump administration or the Trump phenomenon has shown anything, it is how the conservative movement is just devoid of any principles at all. There was a time when you could argue that they did have it, but now there's nothing. It's just it's a bottomless pit here. But how they view comedy and why right wingers are so bad at comedy is that they don't usually use comedy. They're not really joking. When conservatives say something terrible, say something really rude and offensive, they hide behind the fact, oh, this is just a joke. But no, they actually mean it, and they're trying to get cover from it. Which is why they think every time we say a joke that, oh, that's what they really think. That's what they're actually thinking. They're not able to actually understand that these are two different modes of thought, because they only have the one, which is just cruelty for cruelty's sake. And if someone calls you on it, just say that you're joking, which is what they assume we're doing when that's not the case.
Wonderful. I have to respect it though. Like I have to respect the dedication to the narcissism. Like I respect it more than the conservatives who are like, oh well, I don't really disagree with everything Trump says, but
Christ,
but
you're right.
I'm going to support him because of this. It's like, no, like just be fucking bold and upfront about it. It's ridiculous. Like the fact that we had fucking Pete Hegseth bring up, I forget the name of the guy, but his pastor, who is a
Doug Wilson.
Overt, what is it?
Doug Wilson,
overt Christian nationalist, very adamant that women should not have the right to vote and they should be subservient to their husbands. Pete Hegseth brings them up to talk to the fucking Pentagon. They don't care. They do not give a shit. They have no care in the world that this is the ideology that their elected representatives follow. TJ, if you gave me someone that had every single policy position that I have and they wanted to advance them and they came out and said, Oh, also, I don't think women should have the right to vote. I think they should be subservient to their husband. I'm not listening to that fucking guy anymore. I don't care how much
Yeah.
we agree on. That guy clearly has fucked up reasons for coming to his conclusions and cannot be trusted. And yet they're just totally okay with people who think that that is totally fine. And they'll never see it. They'll never understand it.
Nope.
But fuck
Nope.
them.
Fuck 'em. I agree. 100%. All right. So which topic should we go to first today, John?
Well, we were talking about the Olympics. We've talked about the Olympics a lot.
Let's go.
So let's talk about that. So did you watch the video I sent you?
Yes, I did, and that was interesting. It was about Norway and their dominance in their it reminds me of creeping dominance in the Winter Olympics and Summer Olympics too. How they're getting better and better, and how they've nationalized their oil and how they've put it toward their sports and help catapult them up the rankings in sports around the world.
And that's exact. So this video, by the way, I really should have written down where it came from, and I will totally credit the creator here because I really like his work, and I'm just forgetting about it, what his name is. But he did such a good job explaining how the reason that Norway is kicking ass isn't just because they're a winter country. There's a lot of wintry countries, and in fact, they have always been a winter country, but they're doing better, and they're doing better since they've implemented public funding into sports specifically. They have taken their oil, nationalized it, and they do a lot of things with the money they get from their oil industry. But one of them, they take I think he said 2.5% or something of the money that they get from this sovereign wealth fund, and they distribute it to promote these sports. People can go in Norway to a mountain, go skiing for about $60. Whereas here in America, because not only do we not do that on a public level, but we have allowed corporations to consolidate basically every single ski resort under the umbrella of two different major mega corporations. Our costs have increased so much that it costs $1,000 to take a family at least to a ski resort and have them ski. And because of that, we are seeing extreme declines in the amount of people actually participating in these sports. And when you see these declines, as kind of alluded to earlier with the whole Winter Olympics thing, only the wealthy people are able to do it. And when only the wealthy people are able to do it, you aren't getting your best and your brightest. You are missing out on so many Wayne Gretzky's that could have been, right? And that is, George Soros official. Just sent me money for saying that, so thank you. So we'll wait for the rest of it in the mail like we usually do. But that's kind of the point that he's making here, and I think it's such a great jumping off point to discuss sports and how they actually matter for so many reasons, and why public subsidizing of these things can lead to so many other benefits. The Olympics is just an example. But I think sports in general is the greatest example of why socialist policies work, because they're proving it. In the great argument against socialism for capitalism is that capitalism is so much more competitive. But is it? Is it? Because if there is a price tag for entry, it lowers the level of competition. Norway's proving it. You see it all the time in sports. Look at the NFL. The most fucking egalitarian socialist construction of a sports league you can possibly imagine, and they kick fucking ass. They are the best sports league in the world by a country mile. And it's because of these policies that increase the level of competition by decreasing the barrier to entry and giving everyone an equal playing field as much as they possibly can, raises the stakes of competition and makes everyone better. And it's insane to me, TJ, why we don't talk about this more. Like, this to me is one of those ways to get young men into our side of the aisle, right? Like, it's so clear and obvious to me. The construction of the NFL, particularly to me, was one of those first things that made me go, this is interesting. This school of thought is interesting. And it shoved me down the rabbit hole. So A, what are your thoughts on the whole video? And B, do you agree with me that sports can be an amazing jumping off point for left-wing ideology?
I think sports could be a good jumping off point on that. It's just that it's kind of limited because, like you mentioned, like this is a good example of why left-wing or socialist policies work. And that's always a tricky statement because I'm sure you've heard it 1,000 times where people say that or socialism. It's never worked. And my response to that was, well, what do you mean by worked? And tell me how capitalism works. Like, what is your explanation for how it works? Because if what you mean by what it works, that it works, is that it allows a few people to amass as much money as they can and raise strong militaries. Okay, yeah, sure. I guess capitalism's work. If that's your goal, if that's the height that you can imagine your society reaching, yeah, sure. But that's not a goal that I think is one that's worth exalting. But if you mean like happiness and people having productive lives and lowering barriers to entry, yeah, I don't think capitalism does a good job of that. And this argument, it may or may not work with people. I'm not sure, because hey, we could win more gold medals if we socialize the sports industries. It might go far, it might not. I just don't know if that's gonna raise up people. The NFL argument, though, I think is great. That one, the NFL and the military are two of the more socialist programs in U.S. history, and they're wildly successful. What I wanted to point out with the gold medal counts and everything, I notice this every Olympics, John, that if you ever Google the medal counts, they always arrange the medal counts to favor the United States. They do it every year, every single time. And so when I pulled it up, because when I saw the medals Norway won, I immediately went to the Google machine and I wrote in U.S. Gold medals, and here we are at the top, 9 gold medals. No one else has 9 gold medals. It's pretty great. Teams, though, what? Here we go. We got. I don't even know what that means. Like individual sports and teams, like why those are separated, I have no idea. But we were number 3 before. We're number 2 now. So we're sneaking up on Norway. That's kind of good. But yeah, I think that if we implemented this stuff, it would do a lot to increase the competition and increase the quality of our sports. But I don't know if that's going to be an immediate selling point to the general populace.
So obviously that selling sports, let's put that on the table for a second.
Yeah,
while
yeah.
I kind of answer the main point here, is that it is just an example of how the policies can increase competitive advantage drastically for a very small price tag. Again, what Norway is doing is they're taking 2.5% of the money they make off of their oil, and they are distributing it in order to fund these programs that get more kids into sports, that get more people competing, more, and it's at that base level. It's not, I don't think they're spending more money on us on their Olympic team. They're spending it on the base level. And that's what raises the level of competition for the Olympic team. And so take that concept and apply it to any industry, right? Take that concept, apply it to our healthcare system. If we make people who want to be doctors and nurses and anything in the healthcare industry pay their own way to get there, it is going to limit the total amount of people that are able to do so, and therefore leave us with less great doctors. But if we lower that barrier to entry, use a small portion of our resources to lower that barrier of entry into any field, it doesn't have to be sports. You want to say sports are dumb and stupid? We can talk about that. I'll disagree with you, but sure, fine. But medicine, I know that we can agree, is good. We want more doctors. I think we can mostly all agree with that. And so this is a great example of how this American ethos of, oh, well, figure it out, pay your own way, rugged capitalism, pull you up by your bootstraps. Well, it didn't fucking work in the Olympics, which is the most meritocratic possible level of human society you can imagine. And this non-competitive socialist policy, works and has absolutely kicked our ass all over the fucking playing field. And if it works in something that is as competitive as the Olympics, it's going to work in something that is far less competitive as medicine. And so you take that to medicine, take it to doctor, whatever. It's a great case for why universities should be free, or at least certain fields at a university should be free of charge, the ones that we need more people working in. And I think that is the argument to be drawn from it, more than we need to put more public funding into sports, which I can also argue that one, but it's probably a weaker case.
Okay, 1,000,000% agree. 1,000,000% agree. There is no reason that we should be, like John was saying, limiting the amount of people who could potentially be I don't know, heart surgeons, and says, no, actually, we're going to make it difficult to be a heart surgeon. Like, we need them. Our country is getting every day. In 20 years, we're going to have millions of retirees. We'll need a lot of people to take care of them. Let's make it as hard as possible to become someone who has a career in the medical field. Let's just cap that off right there. So yeah, going down that route, but that's an argument we've been making a long time, and it's not got us anywhere. I don't understand Americans, man. I've had to reevaluate like my view of my fellow countrymen this last like 6 months, because I don't know how to actually communicate with these people when there's an obvious answer in front of you. That what good is it being the richest and most powerful nation in the world if we're going to let ourselves fall apart like this? Like, why do we even bother with this whole society thing? People seem to be enveloped in this cult of social Darwinism that, hey, if you can't make it on your own, like me, I made it on my own. I didn't have any help. Bullshit, of course you did. But, you know, it's easy to think that you did everything yourself, that you're so great and you're so excellent that you deserve your place in the socials ladder. And everyone who's below you, they're just inferior. So they didn't have what it takes. Why should we help anyone out? Why did we bother, leaving the savannah? Why don't we just let natural selection take its course and we all live in caves? I don't get it. So just talking to people about what, in fact, we're going in reverse. Like 100 years ago, we were oddly enough going in a better direction here, where public schools, public libraries, the start of the first social programs with education and medical care, and now we're dialing that shit back for no apparent reason. So yeah, I think that if we could just show examples, maybe like you said, oh look, these other nations, they're putting money into like the base level, or even what? Oh, here's one, John. Here's one that should work, but I don't know. You could talk about. I remember doing this program with after school. It was in Illinois, I think, and I was working with these after school programs for kids. And it's like, oh, if you give kids something to do, they're going to get in a lot less trouble. They're going to make more friends, and there's the data shows that this is going to be helpful. And putting money into that stuff on the base level will improve your society. It might take time to prove it, but it's the answers are there. I don't know, though. I just wish I could be confident about this. But showing people data on this doesn't seem to change their mind. But we need some way to get them in the amygdala, like somehow getting their emotions kicked in on this. And we haven't proven to be very good at that.
Yeah, I mean, you make a great point. It's like, if I can't convince people when Donald Trump's DOJ is deleting files of interviews that the FBI conducted that they called credible allegations of sexual assault against a minor, and I show them that, and they're just like, yeah, no, I still believe Donnie here. What's the point? What's the fucking point of me going into, I don't know, the data on how having youth participate in sports decreases crime rates, increases high school graduation rates, increases lifetime income, all of these things. They're not going to give a shit. So there is that cynical lens here. However, as I said, there's a lot of people who aren't gettable, and it won't matter, and it won't necessarily move the masses. But I think the NFL thing is a great fucking example of like, that got me here. I'm not saying that without the NFL, I wouldn't have gotten here in my political views, but I do know that looking at the NFL and seeing how it operates and seeing how giving more benefits to the worst producers in society creates an overall more competitive environment that has greater levels of achievement. That is a lesson that was core to me in my pathway to where I am now. So is it going to absolutely win shit for us to like be highlighting this stuff? No, especially right now. There's diddly shit it's going to do right now, but it can create more of us. And that's really what's going to win it at the end of the day, is just creating as many of us as possible. The 35-year-old you're arguing with on Twitter, they're gone. They're never fucking coming back. You're never going to get them. But there's a 10-year-old out there somewhere watching this sort of shit, and they're winnable. We can get them. And you just have to push them down the rabbit hole. And just like with the Winter Olympics here, this is what people like when I posted this and they were arguing with me like, oh, well, Norway does better because they're a winter country and we have a bunch of summer sports people. It's like, yes, but we have more people in wintry locations than Norway does. And we used to do better at this. 10, 15 years ago, we were way better at the Winter Olympics. It is then after At that time is when these changes started to occur, where the corporations were consolidating all of the winter sports and eking them for profit, and we saw participation drop. And now we are paying the toll for that. It's not that us talking about this right now is going to move the needle and take Trump out. Like that ship is long sailed. We just need to fight power with power for the moment. But the work that we put in by telling people about these ideas and making them understandable, especially for the audiences that Republicans tend to attract, your red meat and football young men, it's going to move the needle 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now. I do believe that. Just looking at my own journey, there's no way I would have gotten here without this sort of content pushing me that way. The
NFL, I hope so. I hope this really does, because you're right. It opened my eyes as well. Well, for me, it was the military and the NFL. It was both of them. And the military is a different thing, because it's not something most people are familiar with or whatever. But how payment works in the military is that everyone at each rank is paid the same. That if you are a private and you're artillery, or if you're air defense or infantry, medic, it doesn't matter what your job is, your base pay is exactly the same. Now, there's bonus pay and compensation pay that, like, if you're a private working in, San Antonio, Texas, and if you're deployed to a combat zone, you're going to get combat pay, which is only like, I think $8 a day. I think combat pay is something. If I remember correctly, it's less than you would think. But there you get your combat pay. Your money isn't taxed. So you definitely make more depending on certain circumstances. But your base pay is going to be exactly the same. And no matter what rank you are, you get the same health care. You get the same access to all the benefits the military has for you. And I'm like, oh, that's an interesting system. That's something that would never happen in the outside world. And also the NFL. The NFL, my God. If you guys don't know what John's talking about with the NFL is socialist as fuck when it comes to at least the team ownership. It's socialist as fuck. That if you have your local team and you have your local stuff going on, you make money for what you do for yourself or whatever. Everything else, basically, that's league wide. All the TV licensing and contract and everything, that's all shared amongst all 32. I think there's 32 teams, and it doesn't matter how good or bad your team is, and it doesn't matter how responsible the team is for the league's success, right? But the Patriots over the last 20 years have been responsible for a lot more than it's a shitty team in the NFL. I can't even think of what the Jaguars. Yeah, the Jaguars ain't done shit. Certainly not compared to the Patriots. They're still sharing out of that same revenue. The visiting teams, like if like John owned a football team and I owned a football team and John came to play with my team, I think I share 40% of the ticket sales with the visiting team. Like it is shared everywhere, and the league booms. It explodes, because you don't usually end up with this case like the Jaguars, where you have a perennially shitty team because they have the money to actually expand, as opposed to, baseball, where, I don't know, the Pittsburgh Pirates, have they been good lately? Ever since I stopped watching baseball a year ago, they were shitty my whole life.
There was a point where they were good for like a couple years. I think they suck again. I don't know. I could be wrong about that.
Yeah, the Pirates sucked my entire life. I probably stopped watching sports maybe 6 or 7 years ago. But I don't know. But before the Pirates were always terrible. That was my go-to team for how shitty they were. But yeah, this is just something that if we can get people to kind of grasp this and understand that look, there's a benefit for all of us here. We all chip in and play together. But it's going to take some time. It's going to take a little bit of time.
Yeah, and especially like if you can compare that to leagues that don't, even just like compare it to leagues that don't have a salary cap, right? Compare it to what European soccer is. And it's so obvious. The level of competition in like the Premier League is so much lower parity than level competition in the NFL, because you can just buy good teams. And when you can just pay more, if you can use the capital that you have acquired from your success to outbid other teams for the best players, it will snowball. And the best teams remain the best teams, regardless of what their level of competition actually is. Look at the NFL. And yes, you do have cases where certain organizations are able to be way more dominant than others, 100%. The New England Patriots are a wonderful example. They are able to take their knowledge, their institutional advantage, and play the game better And that is why they get better results. But it's not because they outbid everyone else. And that is why you have more parity in the NFL, more opportunities for people who actually have a competitive advantage to win than you do in any other sports league. And if you are going to take that at the highest level of professional competition, which is the NFL, you can say maybe other sports, but like it's high level, just meritocratic competition purely. And you see that this league is more competitive than the others as a result of the fact they don't have a salary. They do have a salary cap. Apply that to any industry. Apply that to anything, and you will mostly get the same results. In that, it's just like the military. You say it all the time, TJ. If it didn't work, then why does the military do it? If having basically equal pay across all of their fucking society doesn't work, then why do they do it? If it gave our military an advantage to pay certain people 300 times more than others
I know.
in the private sector, why wouldn't they do it? Do you think that the fucking military is this like ideological socialist egalitarian society? No, they're a bunch of fucking right-wing meatheads. TJ's one of the rare ones. But like, why would they only do it? Because it gives them a competitive advantage. They understand this fundamentally, and that is why it is designed that way.
That's a good point, John. It's like never in a million years would the military say, this guy is so good at combat that we're going to give him a $40 million contract. That would never happen. Like, because no one is that good at anything. Okay, this is like the market isn't a direct reflection of how good you are at something. It's a reflection of how bad someone wants to or how they want to pay you. Like that's it. They're competition with everyone else, but it doesn't mean that you actually earn that. No one works that much harder than anyone. And Huge Ass just commented here. The Packers are publicly owned, as all teams should be. It's illegal for teams to be publicly owned, but the Packers are grandfathered in. I didn't know that. I didn't know that it was against.
You didn't know until right now that the Packers were publicly owned?
No, I knew the Packers are publicly owned, but I didn't know that it was illegal for teams to be publicly owned, and that the grandfathers, that the Packers were an exception to that because they always have been that way. I didn't know that other teams were. It was not able to happen. But yeah, the fact that that's. And of course, people love you will not find a more rabid set of fans than Green Bay Packer fans, right? They absolutely love it because it belongs to the town. It just makes a lot of sense. And yeah, John, I don't know. I have something to talk about the military too when we're done here, because you reminded me of an article that came out about the VA. Whenever you're ready,
let's just jump. I feel like do you have any other Olympics related notes to say? I have one.
Let's go. Yeah, let's go. Yeah, let's go. Yeah,
and I just want to say publicly, I fucking love the Olympics. As much as the Winter Olympics sucks compared to the Summer Olympics, 100%. Like today, I was watching women's figure skating. Which, do I watch women's figure skating or any figure skating ever or care about it? No. But during the Olympics, it's cool. I get to see these people who dedicate their entire lives to this craft and competing with it at the highest level. And spoiler alert, the American won. Our American,
you will
won
say,
it for the first time since like 2006 or 8, whatever it was, around that time. And she wins. The Japanese, she's like waiting because she was like not the last one to go. The Japanese girl's the last one to go, and the Japanese girl gets her scores, and she takes second. And the American, who by the way left the sport and came back because she just wanted to do it for herself now. A totally different mindset. It's a wonderful story. She goes over to the Japanese girl, calls her over, and like does the like classic Japanese girl, like excited, like schoolgirl dance. Mm-hmm. And they just have this like girl out moment. They don't speak each other's language. They like, you can see that like, she's like trying to talk to her, just realizing there's nothing, but they are communicating on this high level, this very impactful level as athletes across other sides of the world competing against each other in the same craft. And it's just fucking beautiful, TJ. It's fucking beautiful. I absolutely love it. In a moment where it seems like everything sucks and humanity is awful, it has been utterly wonderful to see humanity come together and do what we do best in amateur athletic competition. It's heartwarming. Let me opine. I know you can make a cynical take and tell me I'm stupid, and it's fine, but I fucking love it anyway. It gives me hope.
I would never do that, John. I would never do that. I agree with you 100% that the Olympics are very near and dear to my heart. There's nothing human beings love more than ritualized combat, because you get all of the all of the emotion and all of the energy and thrill of combat usually without anyone dying. It's pretty great. It's a great thing that we have. And so there's a reason we've been doing it for thousands of years. And like the Greeks nailed it with this fucking Olympic idea. Like, yeah, we're gonna just have a bunch of people come together and do these competitions, and we still do it to this day. So I'm with you. Like, whenever I know it's easy to be the cynical American saying, this whole nationalism, this patriotism shit, it's nonsense. It doesn't get us anywhere. During the Olympics, I am the most jingoistic, evil American out there. I don't sports that I don't give a shit about, that I've never heard of. I'm like, let's go. Let's kick their asses. Let's roll with the shit. I love hearing the heartwarming stories where they're just regular folks who are not pros usually. Sometimes they are, but not usually pros, and they're doing it literally for the love of the game. We throw that phrase around a lot, but they're actually doing it for the love of the game. They're working at coffee shops and warehouses, and then they're off time. They're training in these events, and then going to represent the fucking nation. And honestly, just being there, just the fact that anyone that would just making it there is an honor in of itself, but to actually get up there and medal or to get a gold medal, this is one of the only times that I am beating my chest for the national anthem. And the national anthem, I think, is a shitty song, not necessarily because of the words or anything like that. People talk about like the slavery aspects of it. I don't even talk about that. It's just a badly constructed musical piece. It doesn't sound good. If it was the national anthem, no one would actually listen to it. But man, when we win that gold medal and the flag goes up, national anthem starts playing, I'm in it. I'm all in it, John. So no, I am in complete agreement with you. I tried to find it on Twitter and I couldn't, but I'll see if I can send it to you if I can find it. But there was a commercial for the Olympics. Man, I want to say it was like 2000 maybe, or maybe 1996. And they did, it was Visa. It was a Visa commercial, I think. And at the end of it, it said, "Go World." And I was like, no, I don't like that. In fact, this might be it right here. Let me see if I can play it. Oh, of course, there's an ad, shit. But the commercial played, and it said, I expected to go USA, but it said go world. And I was like, no, I'm not rooting for the world, man. I'm rooting for the red, white, and blue. Okay. This is the TJ's inner jingoist and nationalist comes out with that. So I agree with you completely, John.
Yeah, and 100% like that. I feel like that is the extent to, and I've said this many times, that is the extent to which patriotism should apply. Like, you should root for your country like you root for a athlete or a sports team, in that it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. Like, you don't want the opponent's team to get hurt. You want everyone to do their best out there, but you're going to beat your chest and get into it for your team. There isn't a reason behind it. I don't sit here and say I root for the Eagles. They're the best run organization in the country. No, they're just where I fucking live, but it's fun. It's fun to engage in that tribalism as long as it's put at the door when the sport ends. And that is, I think, the high bar for how you can be patriotic without being nationalistic is exactly what you just described. Secondly, the last opine here I have about the Olympics, it's not just the athletes that give me hope and inspiration. The fact that the Olympics exists and has existed for so long is another fucking miracle. We have countries actively going to war with each other, competing at these games, that it's crazy that it happens. Like, it's utterly insane that logistically they're able to pull all of this off, that we're able to get everyone to get along for this like 2-week period of time, that the broadcast, TJ, oh my God. As someone who went to school for this shit, it's insane how they have multiple feeds from different fucking stadiums from all across this country being delivered all the way across the world, viewable at all times by anyone. It's a fucking incredible technical marvel of human achievement, and we just take it for granted. And I love bashing Comcast. I love bashing NBC. They're an evil fucking corporation. I really hope they never change in the fact that they view the Olympics as a public good. Like, they genuinely, their Gold Zone, I don't know if you watch Gold Zone, TJ, it has revolutionized my viewing experience of the fucking Olympics. You get like they didn't have to do it. They don't make more money because of it. It just is something that they did because they want to strive for excellence in their broadcast of this event. And I fucking love it. It's just absolutely wonderful. I love everything about it.
I'm surprised that hasn't changed yet. I do remember like many Olympics ago when people were talking about this. It's like, oh yeah, the Olympics should be. Oh, it was when like streaming internet first became a thing,
Yep.
and it says, oh, we can just stream anything we want anytime. And it's like, well, what about the TV networks? They might lose money on this. Like, no, we're gonna do it anyway. It's like, wow, that's kind of surprising that they bit the bullet on that one. I don't imagine it'll last long. Nothing good ever does. But another great thing, John, you mentioned that it's great the spirit of the Olympics that all these countries come together, even countries that are at war or whatever. Is that I always crack up when I see North Korea at the Olympics. That's always really funny to me. It's like, you guys too. I thought this was like some dangerous rogue nation that's willing to kill everyone at the drop of a hat. We're gonna play soccer with them. Where we think that's all right. I don't know. It's funny. It's just very funny to me. I also love that every story about the Olympics, every time it happens, there's always someone doing his expose about stories we've heard every single Olympic summer or when that takes place. That they've shipped 100,000 condoms to the Olympic Village because all the athletes are going to spend the whole week or a couple of weeks fucking. Yeah, of course they are. I don't know why this is a news story. Of course they are, but this is the commercial.
By the way, that is my number one fantasy. Like my number one fantasy. Have the gold medal walking around the Olympic Village, just like looking at this buffet from all around the world of the most attractive people to ever exist. Like there cannot be a better experience in life.
I heard who was it? Kevin Garnett. I think Kevin Garnett was talking about things. Yeah, all that stuff they say about people going free mode in the Olympics is true and everything. He's like the Olympic Village, everyone's staying like in the same area, and you're like everyone's fit and attractive. Everyone's testosterone levels are really super high, and everyone's aroused in one way or the other. And yeah, of course, you're in a foreign location, it's exotic, it's fun. This is the peak of your life.
Any of these people again? Like
nope. Yeah. Odds are it's not going to get any better than this. Of course, people are going to be horny. He says, but even still, the NBA players, they did not keep us with everyone else. He's like, the NBA players were too high profile or something. They throw off the balance, and so they move the NBA players somewhere else. All right, it's probably a good idea. Yeah. Leave some for everybody else. But okay, this is the commercial I was telling you about, John. This is the 2008 Olympics is when it was. Here.
Derek Redmond didn't finish in first place on 1982 400 meter. He didn't finish in second, or third, or fourth. He and his father finished dead last. But he and his father finished. Visa, proud sponsor of the Olympic Games, and the only card accepted there.
All right, that was a great story and everything like that, but the Go World really bothered me. I remember that my inner Republican does come out during these Olympic events. Like, nope, I'm not rooting for the world. Fuck that. I'm rooting for the United States of America. All right, now speaking of rooting for the United States of America, this story is unfortunately 3 hours too late, I think, but I still want to roll with it. And this is about the Department of Veteran Affairs. So whenever you get out of the military, you go through a compensation and payment physical. And basically what they do is they go over all of your medical records and they see how your physical health, your mental health is, and if you qualify for VA payments, for the rest of your life because of the damage you take in the military and everything. And so the Trump administration came out with this policy stating, let me pull up the CNN article right here, see if I can read this to you guys. It's like how it's going here. All right. Okay. All right, the rule said that a veteran's disability level would be based on how well they function while on medication for an injury or illness and not simply having the impairment itself. For example, if a veteran has a service-related knee injury, but medication they take helps them function better, that would be taken into account when determining how much they receive in benefits. So basically, like I had my hip injuries or whatever, so I had both hips replaced. So this is okay, so you have both hips replaced, you get 40% of VA disability for your hip replacement. So what this rule said that, well, you have injured hips, but if you take medication that makes your hip hurt a little bit less, we're going to drop you down to 20%. You're not going to get 40% of your VA benefits. Now, this caused an uproar in the military community, in the veteran community. People started freaking out and everything. A buddy of mine was like, well, did you guys all vote for this? This is exactly what you guys wanted. I don't know what you're mad about. But I say this, the story is a little late because the Department of Veterans Affairs is halting enforcement of a new rule for determining disability payments after veterans across the United States expressed outrage for what they said would likely reduce benefits for many. This is today, John. This happened like an hour before the show that they said, okay, we're going to halt enforcement on this rule. They haven't. So here's what the statement said from the Secretary of Veterans Affairs. But the VA said Thursday it would halt enforcement of the rule after veterans quickly and loudly opposed it. While the VA does not agree with the way this rule has been characterized, the department always takes veterans' concerns seriously. To alleviate these concerns, the VA will continue to collect public comments regarding the rule, but it will not be enforced at any time in the future. So the rule is still on the books, saying that the Army is going to reduce the payment for veterans for their injuries in service. For disabled veterans, they're going to reduce their payments in the future. But so we're going to put pause on it because people are really mad about this. And I'm just not surprised. I'm just not shocked at all. But when you start talking about how people's minds might be changed by this, it would take something like this to change people's minds. I don't think that would do it either. I don't think that would do it. I think that Donald Trump could come right out with his administration saying, we're going to take money out of the pockets of disabled veterans, the people we claim to care about the most, and they're still going to fucking vote for it. They're still going to vote for it. I'd love to see how this happens, if this causes any dip in support, but I'm not confident that it will. What do you think?
So I think that you're not going to see veterans suddenly stop being Republicans over this. They might turn on Trump. I know a lot of Republicans who have turned on Trump to a certain extent, who will never stop being Republicans, but they're like, this guy fucking sucks, because it has directly affected them. I work with people who are like that because they see how it has affected our industry. And they're like, oh, this is dumb. The tariffs particularly are dumb. And Trump's an idiot. And they're not going to stop being Republicans. They're not going to look deep inside themselves and figure out what made them fall for this in the first place. But they will turn on Trump, especially those who weren't necessarily like gung-ho Trump originally and just became gung-ho Trump because they were Republicans. I think that those people definitely could turn on him when they get personally affected by policy. Like we've seen. Also, side note, going after disabled veterans, come on, bro. Just politically speaking, that's the dumbest fucking. You want to you don't also reduce money to orphanages? What is the most protected class in society? Should be the disabled fucking veterans who went and lost a leg to protect our country, and yet somehow these goonishly evil fucking people are still like, oh yeah, if you're getting medication for your hip replacement, it makes it less painful. We should give you less money to take care of the hip you need replaced because you got fucking hit with shrapnel while fucking defending this country. It's just insanity.
It is. And this is something I've been waiting for this, actually. I've actually been waiting for the Republicans to do this because it makes sense. To me, it makes sense. If they're worried about spending like they say they are, and they always go after people who actually need the money, veterans are eventually it's got to get to them. Eventually it's got to get to them, right? It was only a matter of time. But yeah, like John was saying, yeah, if you have cancer and you have disability because, you have cancer I actually have a meeting in Arkansas in a couple of weeks about burn pit, because when you're overseas, you're around these burn pits all the time, and a lot of people got cancer from being around burn pits. That's almost certainly what killed Joe Biden, is when he was deployed being around the burn pits. He had brain cancer out of nowhere, and if you have cancer and you're on disability, getting chemotherapy might help with the cancer, but you still have fucking cancer, right? It's not like it goes away. So why would your payments go down? Yeah, and so it's just it's only a matter of time before they start going after this, and I think that there's enough bloodlust on people on the right to go after these folks. And I don't know, I'm not confident about this. And what I read down here, I thought it was funny that our numbers for viewership have been pretty stable until we started talking about disabled veterans. Then it started tanking down. I guess our side is the one who doesn't give a fuck about disabled veterans. Get out of here. I don't watch any of this garbage. But yeah, I just wanted to bring that up because I thought that was interesting. And I only got a few minutes left, so I'll hear what Kyle said. John, do you know anything about this? What are your thoughts on not allowing geolocation. I didn't know that, nor do I have any thoughts on it. Did you know this, John?
Yeah,
or what this even?
Despite the fact that we're everyone's favorite fake gay couple, we don't actually use Grindr, and I have no idea what that. Like, I understand what geolocation means, but does that mean that you're just swiping to everyone in the world? Like
that doesn't make sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Did you know that there's no lesbian Grindr? I didn't know this until last week. I saw some video on.
Are you kidding me?
There's no lesbian Grindr. It's like, yeah, how come there's no lesbian Grindr? Like, yeah, I don't know. I didn't know that Grindr was.
Wild. You think that would be like an obvious like money grab for someone out there? We might have to start lesbian Grindr, TJ. That might. You know what? We make it big.
Sounds like a great investment opportunity. I don't see why not, but I didn't know that.
Yo, George, you're still here? The one thing I wanted to say about the will they turn on Trump thing, I'm actually very curious to see what happens after the midterms, because as much as we're like, oh, nothing really matters right now, it's because like no one's been like made to address the consequence of what's going on. If the elections continue to go how like all of the like election data is pointing, and if we like even get a small revision to we get like the best expected outcome, it's going to be the largest landslide in history, like ever. And that is very much within the realm of expectation. I do wonder, especially like people are like this in general, and conservatives more so, they will go the way they think is socially acceptable to go. They have been left leashed, and it's socially acceptable to do all those things they don't want. It's why they say they support gay people now when like they didn't change anything about their ideology or personality or do any sort of introspective work to arrive at the conclusion that, oh yeah, gay people should have equal rights. They just saw, oh shit, everyone supports this now. It's weird if I don't, and I'm going to go that way. I wonder if we're going to see a large effect like that after the midterms, where once the Democrats just slap their dick across the fucking Republicans' face and just utterly trounce them. If a lot of this, like, remember the fucking terrible, awful momentum immediately after the fucking Trump win, where like not only did he win, but there was a red fucking wave, and just the worst people, like my body, your body, my choice became like a thing that you heard regularly. That like suddenly they were cool saying that in public now. Like I imagine there's going to be that in the opposite direction, and I'm interested once the cultural zeitgeist flips, which it will, assuming that the election results hold that we've been seeing, we might start to see some cascading effects on that. I don't know. Just putting it out.
We might. I'm always trying to be optimistic, but life has taught me that that's a huge mistake. I think I've learned my lesson on this, and so I'll believe in good things when they actually happen. And I did want to put this comment here that Colby says, what about lesbian Grindr? He's like, well, they all move in with each other after one date. They don't need an app to help. Now, this reminds me of years and years ago. I started dating this girl, and within a couple of months, we'd moved in together. Nothing I would recommend for anybody, a bad mistake on my part. But I told a friend of mine about this, and she's lesbian. She goes, oh, you two are like U-Haul lesbians. And I was like, a what? She said, a U-Haul lesbian. What does that mean? So, well, lesbians, they're known for, dating right away and then moving in together immediately. I know that was a thing, so that was pretty funny. And then Kyle says that my comment was about the Olympics is because they don't want to out gay people. I didn't know that. I know that was
the location for the Olympics on Grindr. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I was going to say, it doesn't make sense like from a normal practical standpoint. So yeah, I don't have any thoughts on that. That's how Tinder became a thing. Was the Olympics like Tinder's big? Like I don't know if you knew this, but like I forget which Olympics it was, but that was their big marketing push. It was used by the athletes in the Olympic Village, and then everyone started using it. And it makes a lot of sense in that setting, but like, yeah, that's how Tinder became a big thing.
I maybe I'm dumber than everyone else, but I still don't know how turning off geolocation would work at the Olympics. Because does that mean you can match with anyone in the world? Because there's no geolocator.
I don't even understand. I guess in that location, maybe you can't see who is grinding in that location, unless you are actually grinding yourself in that location. Is grinding how they say it? I just invented that term. I don't know if that's what they actually say, but it would make a lot of sense.
It would. Um, and so what you mentioned about where the Republicans are going to go in the future, got a couple minutes left here, but Nick Fuentes posted something about at the 2028 elections, and I wanted to see your thoughts on this, John.
Don't vote. Do not vote in the midterms. The Republicans have to lose. They have to lose. They have to crash and burn. A cleansing fire is the only thing that will save us. It cannot be fixed. Fuck them. Fuck Trump. Fuck MAGA. Fuck all this stuff. It can't be fixed. If it could have been fixed, it would have been fixed in 2025, but it wasn't. They made every mistake. Liberation Day, disaster. Doge, disaster. Big Beautiful Bill, disaster. Epstein files, disaster. Iran, disaster. The personnel, Mike Waltz, disaster. Ratcliffe, disaster. Rubio, disaster. Pam Bondi, disaster. All self-inflicted. Trump personnel, Trump policy, Trump strategy, Trump playbook. We tried it your way. It didn't work. Fuck you. Now we don't vote. That's the message. Seriously. Can't blame anybody else. Bad advice, bad advisors, Biden's economy. Enough already. It didn't work. We're not voting. I'm staying home. And you know what? I hope the Democrats impeach him. I hope the Democrats impeach all of them. I hope they indict everybody. I hope they depose and compel the release of documents. And I hope they find all the criminal behavior. And I hope it destroys the GOP. I hope it creates a crisis for the GOP so severe that they never recover. And then I hope we get a fucking Nazi to run in 28.
All right. You know what? This is a great clip because like 98% of it could be shit that we would have said, like word for word. Then right at the end, he's like, and that's why I hope we get a Nazi running in 2028. So I'm like, all right, okay. Yep, that's old Nick, like we know him.
TJ, I have to agree. Like with again, Nick Fuentes. I don't ever want to say that I agree with Nick Fuentes because he's a terrible fucking person and he is a Nazi.
Yeah.
But Nazis can be right about things,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And they tend to be very good at recognizing their own political leverage and advantage. And Nick Fuentes is looking at the tea leaves right now.
Yep.
And he's like, guys, this ain't it. This was our big shot. And we missed so badly, we need to burn it all down. And he's right. I've actually felt this way. Like, if I was a Nazi, I would be very, very distraught right now. Because this is probably the closest that they're ever going to get in their lifetime to actual power. And Trump is just throwing it the fuck away. He's just flushing it down the toilet. If he was actually a competent fascist, we'd be cooked already. It would be over. Like it would be sayonara. Yeah. If you had actual fucking competent people running this administration, we'd be so fucked. It would be so bad. And we don't. It's our only saving grace. This is what I said before the election, was that our only saving grace is that these guys are so incompetent they can't hurt us as much as they want to. And if I'm sitting there and I'm in Nick Fuentes' shoes, everything he's saying is correct. It's exactly how we felt about the Democrats. And we weren't the don't vote Democrats people. But we had all of those same criticisms of like, they fucked this all up. And we need to eliminate all of the people from the party that did this. And it's what he said sounded exactly like if you were to just like reverse the teams here, it sounds exactly what the fucking protest voters were saying. Like it's word for word the same exact argument right up until the end. right up until the conclusion.
Like, there's the Nick we all know and love. There he is right there. But all right, I gotta head out. Any final thoughts here, John?
No, this ended up being a good episode, TJ. Thank you guys.
It did.
Probably not the most viewed episode ever, but I think this was fun for our viewers. Definitely, if you are one of the few people still watching this after we started talking about Veterans Affairs, like and subscribe if you haven't already. Until then, we'll see you Tuesday.
Thanks so much, guys. Catch you later.